Hey, this is Mike, and it's October 1st. We finally made it out of scary September. The market was up almost 1% yesterday. Had a very, very strong day, kind of dropped off at the end of the day. It was up a little higher in after hours. However, we have initial jobless claims coming in at 8:30 today. That's 1 hour before market opens. So we just have to wait and see because I think that could be a big mover to the upside or the downside. Right now, we are less than 1% from the S&P 500's 50-day moving average. And in order for this market to really begin to move higher, we got to get above the 50-day moving average, and we have to close above the 50-day moving average. Now, October is kind of weird because it's usually not as bad as September, but we have had market crashes that happen in October. But on the other hand, we have also had Santa Claus rallies that have begun in October. So it's kind of a wait and see right now. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing cash secured puts. I'm doing those on Gamestop and some other stocks right now just to generate income and wait until we get the full steam ahead. Now, just as something that could be a possible positive momentum for the equity markets is that while the S&P 500 was up yesterday, gold was down yesterday. And since there's usually historically a negative correlation between the S&P 500 and gold, it's kind of, if you're positive for equities, it's kind of good news that gold is down. However, overall, the overall trend for gold is up. If you're looking for a multi-year play, I do think gold is the way to go. But I do think gold is pulling back because it kind of had a steep run up over the past 12 months. So it probably needs to get somewhere down to maybe like the 155 point before it can just consolidate, move higher. But I do think so. Was the big news yesterday? I think the big news yesterday was Nano Dimensions. I mean, wow, it was up 34%, and this is because ARK Investment, Kathy Woods, started buying Nano Dimensions earlier this week, just a little bit, not even like more than to the 286 level after beginning the week at 156. So I think if you're interested in this stock, you're going to want to wait for it to pull back a little bit. It's already down a little over 4% in after hours. It'll probably go down again just because where stock rises is high. You get people who are just in it for the short term, for the short-term profit trading. But ARK Investment, they are not short-term traders. When they buy something, they're going to buy something for the long term. So that means Nano Dimensions is going to be a stock. If you're interested in making a play on a penny stock, this is the stock to do it in. However, you're going to just want to get a better price for it. And unfortunately, there are no options on Nano Dimension, so you can't do like cash secure puts. But yeah, I would just recommend. I always like to recommend when the stock has a huge run up, is to wait for it to retrace like 50% of its run up. So the run up really started at 158. It's at 286. I would say like the 220 level, like around here, where you had this little dip here. I think it'll probably consolidate at that level. And that level, I think it's a good idea to buy and then pull itself upward. Another stock I wanted to talk about, because I think this is kind of interesting, is Nordstrom. And the reason why I say it's interesting is that this was a stock that Jeremy from Financial Education talked about. He did a whole video dedicated to Nordstrom about how this stock may double. And the funny thing is, this is a stock that's just been on the downtrend, but it's starting to pick up a bit here, and it's also up after hours. And I think Financial Education, his channel, may actually have market moving effect on stocks. And so I think the only reason why this stock is beginning to consolidate, break a trend, is because of that Financial Education video, and that some people may just start buying. However, is it a buy? I think Nordstrom may become a buy just because we're probably going to have a Santa Claus rally. And when we have the Santa Claus rally, any company that benefits from holiday shopping is going to pick up a bid. Now, the one thing is the Nordstrom 50-day moving average is, I think it's about 15 or something. It's 1493. So it's 1192. Typically, I would not touch a stock that's below the 50-day moving average. The 50-day moving average, I am going to buy it. I do think we're going to have a lot of strong holiday sales, mostly online, and Nordstrom probably has one of the best online stores out of out of all of this sort of high-end retailer. I wouldn't say like high-end like Gucci and that level, but I would say what we call like middle-class high-end, like Nordstrom, Coach, that kind of level. They have a very good e-commerce presence. And the good thing about Nordstrom is there's really no competition with Amazon. Amazon does have a luxury division, but Amazon did just start a luxury division, but it's invite only. However, if you want something that's a little nicer, Nordstrom is going to be the way to go versus Amazon. So I do think there's a potential here, but like I said, you may want to wait for this stock to hit above the 50-day moving average before you go for it. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Gamestop because this is a stock I'm doing cash secure puts on. I have the 9.5 strike, which expires October 9th. Right now, and my target is to collect 50% of the profits. Right now, I'm in profit at, like, I would say the halfway point. I'm like 25% in profit, so I'm just waiting to get that other 25% more. Today's Thursday. I would estimate I could probably get that 50% target probably by next Monday or Tuesday, because that's for the last two trades. I've been holding these cash secured puts for about 5 days before they hit my profit target. So I think that's good. And I also think that, GameStop with the PS5 sales, Xbox sales, holiday sales coming up, I think GameStop is going to continue to move upward. I know this is kind of a steep run and it will pull back, and I do expect it to pull back, but if the shares get put to me, that's fine. I'll do covered calls. So I think this is one stock to look at that maybe a lot of people haven't been looking at, because everybody now is looking at the EV stocks, which they should, because EVs are a transformative and disruptive industry. However, you did see Workhorse go down here because I guess they didn't get that post office contract yet, or some news that was expected has not happened yet. So, it's going to pull back. But this is, the EV stocks for long term are going to be great news. However, I do think for the next 2 months, your best gains are going to be from the Santa Claus rally stocks. And actually, this weekend, I'm going to put together a special report to show you the stocks that I'm going to be targeting. I just have a little more research to do before I can really put something out there that will be of value. But definitely Workhorse was down yesterday. Tesla was up. Tesla continues to chug along. They're still about, I don't know, like 20% off the all-time high. But I expect the Tesla to do well. However, I do think over the next 2 months, you're going to get outperformance from e-commerce players or anyone tied to holiday sales, because that's just where all the momentum is going to be. And finally, let me just talk about gold and silver, because a lot of people are just not talking about gold and silver right now because people's attentions are turned somewhere else. But don't sleep on this, because even though it is trending downward, when gold and silver begin to move up, it just rockets itself up. Right now, the 50-day moving average, just get checked right here. I think it might be above the 50-day moving average right now for gold. Let's see. No, it's actually 182. So it's below the 50-day moving average. Okay, so it's below the 50-day moving average by about 3 or 4%. But when it does move up, gold, there tends to be a rotation from equities into gold, and I actually think that rotation may happen in early 2021, because after the holidays, I do think the second wave of the pandemic is going to kick in. There's going to be a lot of fear. We could see some selling off in January, and money has to rotate into somewhere for safety, and I think one of those places will be gold. Silver will be a little hard to tell because silver does have industrial uses. So if industrial use shuts down, that does negatively impact silver. However, it's still good to watch, because when silver moves up, it tends to move up pretty violently, and you get sort of double the move upward that you get from gold. And that's it. And let me just, since we're in commodities, I'll just take one look at oil. Oil seems to be just very stable. It's so weird because oil was just all over the place when it went negative. I mean, look at this fall it had from April to May. It went from 47 to 18. I think it moved actually down to like $3, but then they did a reverse split. And oil has been freakishly stable, but it's not going to be stable for long. I do think when we get the reopen trade, when we finally get past this vaccine, oil is going to be one of the big winners. So that's one thing to keep on your radar. If you begin to hear that vaccines are rolling out and everything's reopening, definitely look at oil because oil is really inexpensive. I do think over the long term, oil is going to be displaced by EV use. Like oil is going to essentially die as a commodity, but you may get some strong short-term boost because you still have more gas-powered cars on the road than you have EVs. That will change in the next 5 years, but right now there is going to be some investment opportunities that you can find in oil. So they're in for the market update for today. So like I said, just watch for those unemployment numbers because that's going to pretty much dictate the atmosphere for the market today. And this weekend, I'm going to put out that report on the Santa Claus rally, what stocks that should be targeted. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I come up with these videos before every market open, when the market does open. And on the weekend, I do weekend reports. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.